COVID was moving like light speed, and we were all told, you've got like a day to figure this out kind of thing. So the first problem that came up was parking for our employees. GW is in Washington, D.C., and parking, you got to pay to park. There's no free parking on campus, and parking is done through the GWorld Card, the ID for the university, and people can buy both monthly parking passes or they can pay as they go through debit parking. And back in March, I remember this week very vividly, every single day, but the week of, what was it, March 9th, 8th or 9th is when everything started to become clear that we would be going home soon. And I got a request on Tuesday night. I was told by a VP, you have to figure out free parking. And it came to me and a couple other folks, and the other folks were already brainstorming all of these ideas, folks outside of the card office. And I'm like, if you want this done through the GWorld Card, we're doing it my way. You listen to me, I know how to do this. So I very quickly said, we're going to use a credit account for this. And we're a declining balance school. We don't have any meal plans on campus. So we're very familiar with declining balances. We don't use credit accounts very often. And when Cheryl brought this up, I was like, there are probably other schools that don't use credit accounts very often. But essentially with a credit account, you can set a credit limit. So we decided to set the parking limit at $2,000 because parking's $16.50 a day. It doesn't matter how much free parking credit we give them. I just wanted to give them a high enough number that we wouldn't have to go back and put more money in for anybody. So we set up the credit account. This was on Wednesday. We set it up. We tested it that day. And then I just needed to have a list of people who got it. It started out with 1,200 people who were classified as designated on-site, and it grew to over 2,000 people because when free parking is up for grabs, it wasn't like everybody can just sign up and get free parking, but it covered everybody through the medical center at the university, which is an entire hospital, an entire medical office, and then it was all of our on-site essential workers, facilities, police department, all of those folks, researchers. The idea was that if DC was locked down pretty much, campus was locked down, but we wanted to give some sort of appreciation to the people who still had to be on campus. And we also wanted to encourage them not to take public transportation, which for us, the majority of employees do take public transportation, including myself. So setting up this free parking was extremely popular. Everybody wanted it, but not everybody could get it. You couldn't just get it because I want to come to campus today to do this thing, but I'm not approved to be on campus. Anyway, the benefits to having it as a credit account was all I needed to do was set up the account once. I could set it up at all of our debit garages to work there. And I knew that it would work. It was easy. Didn't have to make any changes at all in the parking system. And then it was very trackable. We knew how many people were using it. We could run numbers on how much money they were spending, and that was our lost revenue from it. And we could really see, it was really easy to run reports and see what was going on. And then in the end of August, no, throughout the summer, they were trying to figure out, when are we going to end free parking? Because at some point we just got to go back to normal and say, this is life now. Things were getting presumably safer around here. Maryland, DC, Virginia are all doing relatively well. People are more trusting of public transit at this point. So they said as of July 31st, they were cutting off free parking. And then at that point, all we had to do was turn off that credit account in the system. That was it, versus some other way of of individually touching people's accounts or doing something in the parking system. We didn't have to do any of that. We turned off the credit account. So it ended up being a relatively easy thing to do. And like I said, good tracking and popular with our staff.